Hi, my name is Dr. Julia Moritis, and today we're going to be talking about cavities and fillings and why you get them and why you might need them. What is a cavity? A cavity is a lack of density, or essentially a hole in your tooth that is caused by bacteria and foods that you eat. So what causes a cavity? Simply put, it is acid from bacteria creating a hole in your tooth. How can I prevent cavities, and what are some risk factors that increase my chances of getting cavities? So really the main thing that's in your control, there's a couple of things. One is the exposures to sugar or anything that breaks down into sugars, so kind of simple carbohydrates. So it's not only just the quantity that you have, it's also the frequency with which you're having them. So, you know, having just a piece of bread and then being done with it is much better than kind of slowly snacking on, let's say, crackers all throughout the day, because those are all different times of exposure. So you're just kind of having that acid set on your teeth all day long. Another thing that is obviously important that we talk about from when you're born is brushing your teeth 2 times a day and flossing, ideally at night. That helps to break up the plaque which forms up on your teeth and kind of lets that acid on there. So breaking up those plaques on there really helps to decrease your chances. What is a filling? So a filling is the procedure that we do in order to take care of a cavity. So when you have that decay or the cavity in your tooth, the only way for us to fix it is to actually manually go in there with a drill and clean out all of the decay and place a filling in there. It's an inert material, and I'll go into different types of filling material. So this is a good example of what decay looks like. So on this tooth right here, you can see, I'm going to show you the basic anatomy. So right here, this bright white surface here, that's the enamel surrounding the tooth. Under that is what's called the dentin. So cavities, when they form, it takes a long time generally for it to get through this enamel because that's really a dense, hard material. However, once it breaks through into this dentin here, they tend to get big pretty quickly. So what we like to do is catch this decay when it's still just barely through at the enamel level before it breaks through into the dentin. On this tooth here, you can see an example where this is really dark here, and then now it's broken through. So this entire area here has turned into a cavity. So you can see how quickly that can progress. Now a large portion of this tooth is decay. Another risk with if we leave these cavities to get this big is now we're getting close to the nerve, which is this dark spot here. So we really like to get cavities before they're this large, because otherwise you're in danger of needing a root canal. So this type of decay on here with these little dots, this is why we take what's called bite wing x-rays, which are the ones that show really well in between your teeth. So this type of decay, these little ones right here where your teeth come together, these are essentially caused when you're not flossing very well. So this kind of shows you the importance of breaking up that barrier between how your teeth touch, because otherwise you get these little spots right where your teeth come together, because that's where the food and the bacteria likes to collect. So this is an example of a completed filling that was done for a cavity that was in between the teeth. So right here you can see where the decay was removed, there's this bright white material, and this is a composite material, which is that white filling material. So this is what it looks like after it's done. What are the different types of filling materials that we use? So generally there's 2 types. There's the silver materials that were used for a long time, called amalgam, and then there's the more current ones that are used more commonly now called composite or resin materials. Generally, most fillings we do use white composites, or another variation is called glass ionomers, but that's a little bit more technical. They've kind of evolved recently, so they have great properties and they wear very similarly to the silver that was used back in the day. So generally, whenever we're in a spot where you're going to be able to see the filling, we elect to use a white filling material. So this right here is a photo of that tooth that we saw earlier. While on the x-ray, it looked pretty big, but you probably didn't have a sense of what the tooth actually looked like. So this is a photo of what it looks like once we kind of opened up the top. So you can see it's taken up a pretty large portion of the tooth here with decay. So this is kind of an interesting shot of what decay actually looks like if you've never seen it. So there it is. So this is an example of a cavity on the side of a tooth where you might think that it's only this big, but this is just where it's managed to get through on the enamel. So over here it has gotten, you can see the inside once we kind of open it up, that it in fact is much larger on the inside of the tooth. So this kind of shows the importance of us getting the cavity while it's just in the enamel rather than waiting to let it get into the dentin. Is it possible to need a filling if your tooth doesn't hurt? Yes, the answer is yes. So we definitely do not want to wait until your tooth is in pain from decay, because at that point, what that means is that the decay has already reached your nerve, most likely. So really, back to our tooth over here. So this is a spot where we want to get the cavity, when it's mostly in the enamel, maybe just barely into the dentin. Once it's gone all the way through here, and if it's starting to cause you pain, that means that it is possibly affecting the nerve, which is right here. And at that point, we cannot do just a filling anymore. We're gonna need to do a root canal. So much better to just catch it while it is smaller. And for root canals, we will talk about that in another video. What happens if you do not get the filling? So obviously everybody's different, but really what's probably gonna happen is the decay is gonna continue to progress, and most likely it'll start going through your dentin, and then eventually it could reach your nerve and require a root canal, or if it gets too bad, the tooth may end up needing to be extracted. Will my fillings bleach? No, your fillings will not bleach. So it is important to take into account your plans to bleach when you are coming up with your treatment plan to take care of your fillings. How long do fillings last? There's no set amount of time that fillings last. It's not like you have to replace them every 2 to 5 years or something like that. However, it is important to keep them clean like any other tooth, and continue to brush them and floss them like any other tooth. We are making these videos because we noticed that a lot of people have basic questions about dental procedures and dental terminology that weren't being answered, and there was really nowhere to go for that. So we're trying to create some answers for that. I hope you enjoyed this video about cavities and decay and fillings, and if you have any other topics that you're interested in, please comment in the comment section and I'd love to make a video about it.